Okay. I've hit the buttons. I've clicked the clicky things. I have dialed up the knobs and I've gone live a little early. Hooray! Well, later than I normally do, much later. This is usually around the time we'd be wrapping up the show. My guest today, however, could not make it until 8:30. And so I was like, okay, well, we're going to have a later night tonight. Because I wanted to talk to him about some of the statements he's been making recently. I find them disturbing, and you know how you have a friend or you have someone you know, and you talk to them, you have conversations with them, they seem normal enough. Then one day they start just saying crazy stuff. And you know that this person is a pretty mild-mannered guy, normally pretty even-keeled, at least that's what your impression of him. And then suddenly from out of nowhere, it's just back to back to back to back to back nutso stuff. That's pretty much my my TLDR of what I've been seeing on my timeline when it comes to this guy we're talking about talking tonight to. Sociologic Ali. If you've watched my channel for a long time, you've probably seen him on a few times, right? And again, I don't always agree with him. I don't always disagree with him. He's usually just kind of a mild-mannered dude. But he's been making some very strong statements. And by strong, let me give you an example. Okay. Let me give you an example. Give me one moment. A moment, please, ladies and gentlemen. You know, you'd think I'd have this you'd think I'd have this up and ready. But that's not how we work here. Okay? That's not how we work here in Wickland. Here it is. Okay, let's see if we can pull this up. So this is the statement he made. Palestinians living in Israel are at least 49% canine and probably have fleas. So I'm like, what are you doing? Stop. It's like, I made a couple mistakes. Allow me to correct myself. Palestinians and Lebanese people living in Israel are at least 49 canine and definitely have fleas. Let me see. You can't really see that. Let me. Yeah, it's pretty gross. And again, I've talked to him about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict before. We disagree on some things, but he seemed relatively reasonable. So I do wonder what's changed. Like, what the fuck's going on, right? What 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 did he do? Yeah, I'm just very confused. I'm just very confused, and I wanted to talk to him tonight. So he said he was going to meet me up at 8:30 tonight, and we're going to talk about it. So that's what we're going to do. How's everyone else doing today? AZ Vocal Local. Early but also late is par for my Thursday. Well, happy Thursday, brother. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the stream. It's going to be a doozy today. I'm excited for it. We got a lot to talk about. For those of you who are following the election, what are some of your thoughts so far? Where are the vibes, in your opinion? Okay, where are the vibes? I'm withholding judgment. Yeah, next bike, there's an election happening. Did you guys know that? There's a presidential election coming up in November, so very close. We're just a couple weeks out. You'd rather become an electrician? Fair enough. Wife is ready to move out of the country. Fair enough. Brew Crow says it's way too close to call. That's my impression, that it's still such a coin toss. And I can see people get frustrated at that. I can see it happen. I can see a lot of Democrats just get very, very frustrated that it's, despite everything, still too close to call. Right? I share a smidge of that frustration. I do, right? However, I'm also old enough and have participated in enough elections to understand that what I think about a situation or an event or a statement isn't always how the electorate feels. And again, I've fought hard for elections where we've lost, and I've fought hard for elections where we've won. I remember fighting pretty strongly for Kerry, right? Back in 2004. Didn't go my way. It sucked. I remember, again, driving people to the polls for Obama in 2008. That went my way. That was great, right? So again, we have these situations where, like, you win, you lose. It sucks when you lose. It's great when you win. But it all kind of comes out in the wash, right? For lack of a better term. It'll impact things, but once you've done all you can, you've done all you can. The thing about this election season is that nothing, like, I think that for better or worse, people's opinions are just locked in. The undecided voter, so rare. I think that most of the electorate by this time has decided, right? Now, there's a few who haven't. There's a few who are still on the fence, but I don't know if they're undecided. I don't know if the word undecided is the best way to describe them. I'll tell you what I mean. I think that there are people who really don't like one of the candidates. They really don't. But they have real concerns about the other candidate. And so they are trying to weigh in their mind which is the greater concern, right? They may hate Trump. They may loathe to pull the trigger for Trump. Like, they don't like what he did. They think he's kind of a con man. But they also look at Kamala's record and they're like, well, this isn't something I support at all, right? So these people are currently trying to decide which is more important to them. There are a few policies they might have versus the real threat that Trump poses. Vice versa. You have people who are looking at Kamala and they're like, they're still not sold on her. They're still not sold on her, but they know Trump is just really, really bad, and they don't support anything Trump does. So, yeah, you're in that situation sometimes. And I'm trying to put myself in the mind of the reasonable undecided voter, right? Shockwave says, so you're saying they're trying to decide between the lesser of two evils? Yes, but I'm saying it in a more verbose way to kind of tell a story with it, right? To kind of get you in the mindset of why they would consider both sides evil. For lack of a better term. Nice to see you, by the way, gang. Kinetic Pause says, when we vote, we win. I mean, yes, that's true. A lot of people are poll watching pretty hard right now. Nah, don't worry about it. Don't look. And this is just true, gang. And I said this back when the Biden Kamala stuff was going on. I said this back after Kamala replaced Biden, and I'll repeat it. Polls, the only poll that really matters is the one on election day. You'll drive yourself crazy. You'll give yourself an ulcer. You'll give yourself an anxiety if you just sit down and you just watch the polls like a hawk. It's horse race shit. At this point, just looking at the aggregates, it's all, there's some bumps and there's some dips, but it all comes back to coin toss land, baby. What this election is going to be decided on, what's going to call this election, pretty much, is how much turnout each party can get in a few counties in a few states. So we're looking at Pennsylvania. We're looking at the counties near Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. How much can Democrats run up the numbers, right? They're going to win those counties. They just are. But the question will become one of margins. How much do they win by? Right? If we take Philadelphia with 70-30, right? 70% vote for Harris, 30% vote for Trump in Philadelphia, we're going to lose the state. We need bigger margins than that. We need pushing 80, okay? Likewise, if you look at all the little rural counties around Pennsylvania, there's tons of them, okay? If Trump is only winning in those counties by like 60-40, Trump's going to lose. Trump needs to get huge margins in all those counties, right? It's a game of turnout. And it's going to come down to who can get the most turnout in the most places, right? People have been looking at early vote returns, right? And they're looking at party affiliation, party registration, and trying to kind of read the tea leaves and prognosticate a bit. That's a fool's game. The early voting in 2020 is such a different environment than the environment we have today that I don't think you can safely make any comparisons. It's one of those things where take the data, keep it in mind, but I don't think you can make any very strong conclusions on who's winning based on that data. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Is everyone like following what I'm putting down here? Am I just ranting? I don't know. Maybe I am. Zephyr Hash. Wick TV, what do you have to say about people who criticize the polling process, such as it doesn't capture first-time voters and that Republicans are sending 20-1 polls to skew aggregates? Hopium? I think that you are making much to do about nothing. Yes, they're always going to screw aggregates up. But again, the national election polls don't fucking matter. It's the state polls, and even then, it's the counties, right? The counties where we got to go. And it's going to come down to election day. So I wouldn't put my hopes in that it's all just kind of manufactured or the polls were wrong. If you are going in this thinking that, well, the polls usually give a margin of error to the Democrats, so if the Democrats are ahead only by 4 points, Trump's going to win. You're a fool. Don't do that. That's wrong. That's wrong thinking. That has happened before, but that does not mean it will happen this time. Again, pollsters are always trying to adjust their methodology. They're always trying to get a more accurate count of where the electorate is at, and so they're always making adjustments. Now, that could go either way. They could adjust too far one way or not far enough. But yeah, I wouldn't just look. I know it's impossible. You guys are politics nerds like me, and I look at the polls too, time to time, right? But please, 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 try not to worry. Try not to worry. You can only do so much. Phone bank. I've given you plenty of opportunities before. You can find the link in my YouTube description. I won't do that again, right? If you want to do something more simple, before election day, if there's early voting in your area and if it's started, grab some friends, take a day, go to the polls, vote, right? Cast them early. Get you and some buddies, okay? People who maybe have transportation issues, family, if you know your family wants to vote, right? Take them with you. Spend some time with some relatives and things like that. These things are positive things that you can do to have a good impact on the election. Lobster says, I've never been less motivated to vote. I think a lot of people are thinking that, you know? A lot of people are just like, ugh, just tired of it. I am going to give you guys a link to something that's going to be happening on the 2nd and 3rd in Philadelphia. Okay? So Progressive Victory is hosting a canvassing event in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I am going to do my damnedest to be there. Okay? I'm going to do my damnedest to be there. And I hope you guys will join me. Here's a link to sign up. It's a little different from our other events. I'm not entirely sure what to expect, but here, Pennsylvania is the most important, right? The most important state, I think, in this election. And if you want to get out, have a good time, there it is. Keep in mind, I do get a check from Progressive Victory, okay? But I would go anyway because, look, I went to the canvassing event in Ohio. That thing was a blast. I didn't get a chance to go to their latest one, I think in Wisconsin. That sucks. But yeah, we're coming up in Philadelphia. For those of you just joining me, we're going to be joined by Sociologic Ali later on today. And he made some comments that I have some real fucking problems with. He called Palestinians and Lebanese folk who live in Israel dogs. A few times, right? It wasn't just one offhand statement or one remark made in anger. It was a series over days of statements getting more and more and more extreme. This guy's been on my channel before. This guy, I've talked to him about the conflict before. He seemed relatively reasonable. So I don't know what happened. He's going to be joining us, let me see, at 8:30. So until then, what do you guys want to talk about? We can go over some stuff. Something I wanted to cover, okay? Something I wanted to cover. Let me get it up. And this is some Trump stuff, okay? So I don't know if you guys heard, but Trump made some weird comments recently in a rally about Arnold Palmer. Do you guys know who Arnold Palmer is? He's a golf dude, right? I'm not a golf guy. I'm not really a sports guy, but even I know who Arnold Palmer is, right? I've heard his name enough. Yeah. He made some comments, and as I was watching these comments, can I just say I miss professionalism in politics? I miss it. I don't see it anymore. It's all just kind of this high school, like it's always been a little bit of this, right? I'm not trying to put rose-tinted glasses on here. There's always been some, dirty deeds and some grossness to it. But we're going to listen to the clip, okay? And the whole time I'm listening to this, I'm thinking like, can we have an adult, please? Can we have some adults in the room? Is this really what we have? A presidential candidate making these kinds of statements? Let's look at it, and then you guys can tell me what you guys think. Okay, it's a really short clip. Let me adjust here for you guys. Okay. So he goes on a rant for a while. We're not going to watch the whole 20 minutes, right? But here we go.
This is a guy that was all man. This man was strong and tough. And I refuse to say it, but when he took showers with the other pros, they came out of there, they said, oh my God. That's unbelievable. I had to say it. This guy.
Why are we talking about people's dicks on the campaign trail? Why are we talking about genitalia? And this isn't the first time he's done it. He has a weird obsession with Arnold Palmer's dick. Let's watch something he said back in 2022.
And I looked at Arnold, I said, Arnold, let me ask you a question. Do you think 40, 50 years ago, I was longer than you like I am now? He looked at me, this is before I was president. He said, Donald, let me tell you something. You weren't even close. In fact, if you look at those trees about 100 yards over there, that's where my ball would be, and here you are. I'll never forget, he looked at me and he said, in fact, I could build a giant Walmart in between our two balls. That wasn't very nice, right? But Arnold was great. He was a great man. He was a great man.
Gang, of all the things that Trump has said, all the craziness that's come out of his mouth, right? We can get a little numb to it. But watching these clips, watching a grown-ass adult, a former president, a current presidential candidate, not in the privacy of his own home, not just among some friends joking around, not in a locker room or whatever, right? On the campaign trail, talking about a dead guy's dick. What are we doing? Can we get some adults in the room, please? Can we get some professionals back in politics? What are we doing here? Why are we doing this? Look, I don't care about some dude's dick. I don't care about your fucking stories, okay? I want to know what you're going to do for America. Look, if I wanted to watch a comedy show, maybe. But this shouldn't be comedy hour. This shouldn't be comedy hour. I don't know, man. Maybe it's not a big deal. Like, look, he's made some crazy comments before, and some really wild shit. But for whatever reason, this is what I'm like flabbergasted at it, right? I don't understand. Like, look, again, if you want to joke, if you were on the fucking anything else podcast or whatever, and you're talking about dicks or dog warts, cool, whatever, okay? But I don't want that kind of talk in my politics. I don't want that type of mindset running the show. But unfortunately, we have that type of mindset running the show. And it's become more, politics and political rhetoric has become worse and worse and worse and worse. It's become more and more and more extreme, more and more childish. I don't know. Hey there, multiculturalist James. Nice to see you. Am I being what's it called? Prudish? That's the word, right? Am I being prudish? Blacktwit says, shake my head, the Demers are panicking, gotta bring up the dick talk. Is this panic? Does this look like panic to you? Said earlier. Look, I've been in elections where I've won, and I've been in elections where I've lost, where my candidate, at least, has won or lost. I've never run for office, just to be clear. Again, you go hard, you do what you can. If you lose, you lose. I lost back in 2004, lost in 2016. It sucked. But you get over it, and you move on. Okay? You win. You win sometimes, you lose sometimes. Am I panicking? No. It's a toss-up. That's what it is. And I don't know how else. Like, if anyone is telling you, and here's what, you know what else, you know what makes me angry, gang? Do you know what I fucking hate? I have two groups of people, okay, to either side of me. One group is saying, Trump is going to win. It's in the bag. If you think otherwise, you are a fool. All the data suggests that Trump is going to win. Trump has it in... Trump can't lose at this point. All the data suggests Trump's going to win. You have those people talking, okay? Then, on my other side, you have Harris has got this in the bag. Harris is going to win. All the data shows that Harris is going to win. You're a fool if you believe that Trump's going to win because Harris definitely has it. All the data says so. After the election, one of those two groups is going to look at me and say, see, you were a fool for ever doubting me. How could you ever doubt me? And I hate it. I hate it. Because both of these groups are retarded. Do we understand that? Do we agree that both of these groups are saying the other side has it in the bag at this point in the election? They're retarded. It's a toss-up. But one of those groups is going to think that, like, they're prophets, and the other the other side is either A, going to just shut up, or B, going to claim it was rigged or stolen or whatever, right? I don't know what to do anymore, right? Like, how, and here's the thing, though. At least in my world, the world of like commentary and influence, coming out with those kinds of strong statements is lucrative. People are anxious about this election and they want hope. They want to hear that their side can't lose, that their side is invincible. So there is a real market for people telling them exactly what they want to hear. Exactly what they want to hear, okay? So you have a market of people who will tune in to hear talking points from Talking Points Joe, just talking all the points of their side, whether they be on Trump's side or on Harris's side, okay? And it's crazy. I don't know, man. It's crazy. Lactoid, please tell me you're not one of those people that think that this election's in the bag for either side, right? Please tell me you're not one of those people. I like you, Lactoid. I want to keep liking you. And look, I don't even mind that you're voting for Trump. It's dumb, but whatever. Okay, that's your vote, not mine. I don't even mind it. But what will make me angry at you, what will annoy me at you, is if you're like, yeah, Trump's just got it in the bag. There's no way he could lose now. If you're one of those types. Those types are dumb. Same with the Harris folks, by the way. Like the people who are going around gloating how Trump has no shot of winning and there's no chance he can ever win. Harris has it locked up. Those people annoy me as well. Those people very much annoy me. Blacktoy TV says, listen, I wouldn't say in the bag, but things aren't looking good for Kamala. Things are looking 50-50 for both candidates. Now, can you make an argument that Harris should be doing better than she is? Yes. But you can make that argument for Trump, too. Given all the screw-ups the Democrats have had this election cycle, it shouldn't be close, right? This was the Republicans' election to lose, okay? But maybe I'm a pessimist. Right now, going to come down to turnout. Who can make it in Pennsylvania and the Rust Belt, right? That's going to be the most important. We might have a few dark horses, right? Like Georgia last election season. Last 2020, I should say. Shocked me. Now, going back and looking at it, I can understand why it happened like it did. But at the time, I wasn't even paying it. Georgia wasn't even on my radar, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Wasn't even on my radar. Toby-Wan Kenobi says, I'll go small riots for Trump wins and large riots for Kamala wins. Isn't that a shameful a shameful statement on our politics today, right? That no matter what side wins, the other side, there's going to be some kind of civil fucking disturbance. I'm 41 years old. I've been through election after election after election. We didn't used to have these, right? We didn't used to have the looming threat of civil disturbances after an election. That was unthinkable. It was unthinkable back in the day. Ina Chu says, both sides suck. Kamala equals communism and Trump equals fascist. Do you guys help sell me on... I know that's what's been sold in the media, depending on what media you listen to, right? they've all decided to paint the other as the worst possible person. I get why. I understand it. But wow, I just don't know. Mad Honeybee says, remember when the Bush Gore count was the biggest thing a generation ever saw? LOL. Yo, that was still wild. I was 18, freshly 18, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure when that went down. It was wild. No FX Live says, so if you're a small business owner in Seattle, you wouldn't be concerned if Trump wins, Antifa or BLM? I'd be concerned for other reasons if Trump won, but I get your point here. I don't know. I wish that we could go back to the civility, right? And I know it was never like super civil. I know that there was always problems. I know that there's always like hate and stuff, but I don't know. Gang, give me 1 second. Hold on. You guys want to see something? You guys want to see something? Hi, kitty. Hello, kitty. We got a kitty. It's an election kitty. Okay. If you don't vote how I want you to. Okay. No, I'm not even gonna make that joke. But Wick showing pussy on stream for money. No one's giving me money. I'm doing it for free. Okay, I'm doing it for free. I'm actually not sure what this kitty is. I was just handed this kitty. I guess I'm gonna find out after the show. But I thought you guys would want to see the kitty. So here's the kitty. It's an orange tabby, it looks like. Oh, kitty, don't. Oh, you going on my shoulder, kitty? Well, don't be crazy, okay? Don't be crazy, kitty. Oh, hold on. Okay, I want to save it. Oh, poor kitty. It's scared. It's scared. Here. Oh. Okay, so while we wait for Ollie to show up, let's go over a few things. Let's look at some of the things that people have been saying. Yes, it was a kitty. I don't know if, look, I don't know what's going on with the kitty. I was handed the kitty. I'm going to find out later. I don't know if I want a cat. Let's see. Let me bring up this tweet. So I saw this tweet from friend of the stream, Theo, okay? Theo's been on my show once. Oh, it's relatives, a relative's kitty, so it's not our kitty, but it's a relative's kitty apparently. I was just made aware. Okay, so Theo made a tweet, and I had some issues with this tweet because I think it really kind of encapsulates how some people view these things, and I think it's wrong. It's a wrong-headed way to view what's happening in the world and influence the world. And again, I like Theo. I just think he's dumb here. Theo says, I have so little respect for liberals, I don't know what the quotes are for, who are directing all their energy at canceling Twitch and Hassan when the election is 2 weeks away. So I made a statement, and this is my response, and I want to talk about it because I want to see what you guys have to say. Ratioed him too, by the way, so ha ha ha. Anyway, seeing liberals calling out in combating anti-Semitism is unironically a good way to help on the margins. Voters want to see anti-Semitism challenged from the left. He responded, the average voter's not paying attention to Twitch and Hassan, dude. What? And here's why this kind of way of thinking is wrongheaded, and I'll explain. Yes, if you polled the majority of the electorate, almost no one would know who Hassan is. Almost no one would know what's going on. Almost no one's vote would be swayed either way by this. That's true. But here's the thing about the electorate. The almost, that word almost, matters. Do you know how much time and energy campaigns spend to get a few hundred more votes in a county or an area? That's all. Just a few hundred. Because that's how tight our margins are in these things. That's how tight this election is going to be. And sure, this isn't a game changer. But there are people out there who are concerned over the anti-Semitism on the left, who watched the protests on the college campuses. That was national news, right? That was national news covered on national networks. And a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them were like, wow, that's pretty anti-Semitic. That's pretty gross. What are the Democrats doing with this? Are the Democrats supporting this? Are the Democrats against this? What do the Democrats think? What does Kamala think? What do liberals think? Right? A lot of the electorate that is still not sold on Kamala, one of the reasons they're not sold on Kamala is because they worry about the extreme left fringes. They worry about the Free Palestine crowd, right? They saw what they did on the campuses. They saw how they treated Jews on the campus. They saw they hear the rhetoric and they don't like it. So I think that seeing liberals push back, and to be clear, I'm not trying to cancel Twitch. I'm not trying to cancel anyone, right? I'm just calling it out. But I think that watching, even hearing about it, right? Even hearing about it, even on the margins, will sway people, right? It will sway people. It gives people permission. It gives people permission to say, well, look, it's not all of them. Some of them are still good. So I'm free to cast my vote because I really hate Trump, but man, this anti-Semitism shit's pretty bad. So I think that does a service to the electorate. Again, it's not the main thing, and it's not the main focus you should be doing. If you were involved in all that, calling out Twitch's anti-Semitism, and you consider that electoral advocacy, you're stupid, right? But I think that along with all the other things that you need to do, canvassing, etc., goes a long way. People want to see evil be stood up against. People want to see what they consider bad to be opposed. And one of the things they worry about Kamala Harris, a lot of independents have one question for Kamala. A lot of centrists, a lot of very soft liberals, they have just one question for Kamala. Is there anything the extreme radical left can say that you would say no to? Give us one thing. Now, I'm not Kamala Harris, right? But I hope that by proxy, people might see my show. They might watch my statements. They might hear my statements, and they might think, okay, well, there are some people willing to stand against this. The crazies, the inmates aren't running the asylum. There are adults in the room. And it kind of creates a permission structure to vote for that. No Cow Mike says, what policy wishes of the extreme left has Kamala endorsed? I'm I'm talking perception rather than reality. So when Kamala does make a lot of the statements that she made during the 2020 primary were very ACAB, right? Were pretty extreme left views, okay? It was a primary. Those have haunted her, and she's been trying to portray herself as a more reasonable candidate, okay? She has. We can see this in her statements about wanting to add a Republican to the cabinet, right? We see this in her disavowing some of the older statements she's made. It's a real concern that people have. Again, whether it's founded or not, I ain't here to discuss that. I'm talking about perceptions. Does that make sense? I think Mantis says, I think if you vote right because of a small fraction of your party, you don't have left-leaning values. I don't... Look, hold on. Sure, maybe so, but I want people of all values to vote for my candidate. Yeah. I want all the votes that I can get, even from the people with the bad values or the less good values. So yes, you might very well be right. Very well be correct in that if you won't vote for Kamala because people on the extreme left were mean, then you're not a true leftist. Okay, cool. We need all the votes, right? Not just the true leftists or whatever, or the true progressives. We need all the votes. I mean, I don't know how else to say it, right? Like, you will only get so far by appealing just to your base. But Sociological Ali is here, so I'm gonna bring him in, and we're gonna start the show. You guys ready? I hope so. Give me a second. Oh, where did it go? Hello, you're live.
What up? Let me turn my camera on.
Okay, take your time, man.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm torn here because I'm worried about you. I'm legit worried about you, right? I think
Why?
that like a lot of these comments you've been making recently are indicative of maybe problems that, because we've talked before on subjects related to this.
Yeah.
Reasonable conversation. I thought it was fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then I see you make statements. Let me just pull up one of them real quick. Give me a second. We can look at it. So let's see. I hope people can see this. Palestinians living in Israel are at least 49% canine and probably have fleas.
Mm-hmm.
You understand how that's a wildly different kind of stance than in any conversation I've had with you than you've had before, right? A wildly different stance. It's like pretty even keeled and then suddenly watching someone go off the rails. So when that happens, one of the things that comes to mind is something going on in their life that is just painting everything in this like black.
See, online all day, all I see is like anti-Semitism. But then, like, you know, not for nothing, no one talks about the Islamophobia, the like dehumanization that comes on like the Arab side,
The
the minimalization that comes on like all. I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about you.
No, I'm not talking about that. But don't you think I mean, that's what we're talking about tonight. You call Palestinians and Lebanese people dogs.
Oh no!
How is that not
49% canine?
How is it? Look, how is that not?
I wouldn't say
Islamophobic?
Palestinians and Lebanese people. What?
How is that not Islamic or anti-Arab?
Well, they're the ones living in Israel. I think they're anti-Arab themselves. You can be Arab and anti-Arab. I have no issue with that.
Okay, make that case for me. I don't get it. Why is a Palestinian who lives in Israel, what makes them a dog? Give me the argument.
They support a terroristic regime in the Middle East.
By living there? I'm not...
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, I'm not talking about the ones who sign up for the IDF. I'm not talking about any of those. The people who are just like, hey, man, Gaza, West Bank, Lebanon, I'm getting bombed. Oh, people come in, the Hamas and the Hezbollah, if I don't toe the line, I get taken away in the night. I get tortured. Maybe I just want to fucking live in Israel and not deal with all that bullshit. They aren't supporting Israel. They probably don't like what Israel's doing, right?
Yeah, I think that's pathetic.
You think that's pathetic? Why is that pathetic?
To go live in the country that's bombing your original country? I think that's pathetic, yeah.
What about Germans who moved to America after World War II? Are they pathetic?
I don't really care about Germans in World War II. Like I don't think about like Germans in World War II. I don't, yeah.
But their country was bombed by America. They had a World War, right? Good relations afterward. Let's look at Vietnam, okay? Vietnam and America have good relations now, right? Are they pathetic because they eventually, one side won, one side lost, they got over it, and normalization occurred, and peace came. One of the problems I have with your statement, right, and statements like it, is it creates this perpetual state of war. It really does. It creates a perpetual state of war that anyone who tries to make peace and live with the other side is a traitor, a dog, not a real Jew, not a real Arab, whatever, right? And it makes it so we can never just see each other as human or treat each other as human.
Peace is running to the other side that's bombing your people? That's peace? That's I don't see how that's like, yeah.
It doesn't. The only way that this is ever going to be solved is if one day, it's looking like in the far future, that both Palestinians and Israelis live together.
Where?
So, yes.
Where are they going to live together?
Wherever they damn well please. Okay? I don't
where?
know.
I'd like the where. I just, where you are listen, you support Zionism, you support Zionists, you have Jewish friends you care about, I understand.
I have Palestinian friends I care about.
Yeah,
I have Lebanese friends I care about.
Yeah. Now me personally, like, I said, your support is there. And so Zionism is Israel having the state, which, like, they have the state. Then everyone keeps talking about this two-state solution, and I'm like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? What two-state solution are you guys talking about? Which one? Is it the one where, like,
there's a lot proposed? There's 2 states or 3 states?
Are we gonna have a Palestine? Are we gonna have like a Palestine with like an Alaska? Like, there's just like a bit of the country over there, a little bit of the country over here. Like, in what world is Israel gonna allow for a two-state solution? With their whole like, oh no, we're destroying terrorism, that they supported and built that terrorism. And they allowed that terrorism to come into their country. There's no two-state solution. Israel does not want a two-state solution. So, yeah, like, no.
I think there are Israelis who want a two-state solution, just like there are Palestinians who want
They're the minority.
A two-state solution.
Yeah, minorities.
But
that's nice. Like, I'm
sure.
Like, they're not going to have any effect or real change. So
I disagree.
What?
So
why?
Because
how much land do you think Israel's going to give up?
Well, I don't know. Back in 2000, they withdrew everyone from Gaza. They dragged Israelis
from Gaza and kept control over. They didn't withdraw anyone from anything, and then they just kept going into the West Bank and settling in the West Bank. So I don't want to hear anything about withdrawing in Gaza.
Hold on. Why do you think they built that wall in Gaza? What was happening that caused them to build a wall between Gaza and Israel? What was happening? What had been occurring?
I don't know, terrorism.
Yes, the second intifada, where
Mm-hmm.
suicide bombers would come in to a school bus, blow up men, women, and children, right? Again, I'm not here to support when Israel just bombs the shit out of whoever they want. I think that Israel has not conducted the war in a way that is good. There are no good guys.
They've acted like terrorists, brother.
In
They
a
did
lot of
not
cases,
conduct
yes.
the war the way that's good. Fuck them and how they've conducted this war. They've been pieces of shit. They've been indiscriminately killing kids. Fuck it, like fuck them and how they've acted. Like you guys do this like weird speech round. They've acted genocidally. They've committed mass murder. They've displaced millions of people. Fuck them. They've been terrorists.
If you want to call like Israelis and the IDF that, fair enough. But
No,
we're here
Israel
to talk about
the government.
We're here to talk about
Israel and the government
Palestinians and Lebanese.
and the IDF. Yeah, the Palestinians and Lebanese people who live in Israel.
Yes.
Who then support that regime. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Their
I don't
dogs.
think
What
them.
the fuck do
Again,
I care about them?
I think that you are equating simply living there as support,
Mhm.
and I don't think that's fair to them. I don't think that's fair at all. I think that it's possible to live in a country, and we see this with Mia
And reap their
Khalifa. We see this
benefits.
with Hassan. We see this with a
What?
lot of people Frogan who live in America but don't support America at all, right? So you can't
Why?
imagine a Palestinian and a Lebanese person living in Israel who just don't support Israel at all.
If you live in the country, buy things in the country, support taxes in the country, reap benefits from the country, you support that country. And by the way, like, I'm so sick of us focusing on like, oh my God, look at what Frogan said about the army. Look at what Hassan says about the army. By the way, horrible things. Horrible things. But you know what's worse is the way our actual government treats a lot of these vets that come here. When they come, they have mental illness like problems. They're homeless. They have all these issues and we don't take care of them for shit. That's an actual issue. Not really the rhetoric that's being said about it, which is disgusting.
I think the rhetoric enables the issue to continue. Like, there's this idea that words don't matter. I think in politics and legislation, they absolutely do. And when you have a lot of the country who simply thinks that, when you have a significant portion of Americans who think that soldiers are, and I don't want this to be the focus today, right? But we'll talk about it for a moment, right? That they think them as war criminals, which is absolutely not true, right? There are some troops who have done some terrible things, but what happens in America is we prosecute the shit out of them. Like the Abu Ghraib people are probably, I think they're still in jail, right? Like they get prosecuted when they get discovered. Most soldiers, most veterans act with honor and dignity, right? I say dignity pretty loosely. They make some crude jokes and shit like that, right? But when you have a group of people with influence, and I think that people like Hassan have influence, people like Mia Khalifa have influence, right? And they're saying, fuck those soldiers, right? Screw those soldiers. I don't give a shit. They can rot. If they don't denounce everything they've ever done, they can rot. I think that it creates a permission structure for people just to not care about veterans. It adds to the problem. It doesn't help it.
So only if, okay, so like 4 Arabs, right? 4 people in the Middle East, like you guys deem groups that come from their regions as terrorists, right? There are certain militias deemed as terrorists. Agreed. But then while they're living there, right? I'm sorry, unfortunately, they're going to see the American bombs that drop on them by the people who are dropping them and call those people terrorists because those are the people terrorizing them from their eyes. And so, like, yeah, like I understand why people have these sentiments because to us sometimes it feels like, well, we're just doing our job, right? They were just doing their job. We were just following orders, and it's like, I mean, all right, cool, well, fuck your orders. They like, kind of destroyed.
I was never ordered to drop a bomb on anyone.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Most soldiers aren't.
Once again, we live in this country. We reap the benefits. We shouldn't be saying things about soldiers that are fighting for our freedoms. I 100% agreed. I disagree and denounce all the things that they said. You should not be saying these things, especially if you have a platform.
Bro, but you're out there again. Totally. You're out there saying worse about Palestinians.
What am I saying worse?
You're calling them dogs.
They're Israelis. They're traitors to their people.
They are wanting to live in peace is not being a traitor. If this is your stance, that unless you are all in on the fight, screaming death to Israel, then you're a traitor. I don't know what to tell you, man. That's gross.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Right now in Lebanon, what's happening is fucking insane. Now, they're fighting Hezbollah. Fuck that. All they're doing is displacing mass amounts of people. Now, the people that are displaced, that lost their homes when they're destroying all these buildings, they have a few choices. There aren't too many choices that they have. They can either rebuild with the lack of money that they have. They can move in with people that already have homes. Or here's this fun little third choice is like they can move to Israel and then support the regime. And then what does Israel do? It goes, look, your people, they're moving here. We need more land. They're gonna take more. No. That's you're giving these fucking people a pretext to steal more land. That's all that's gonna end up happening in Gaza. That's all that's gonna end up happening in the south of Lebanon if they continue to go at the rate that they're going and succeed. That's all that's gonna happen. So why the fuck should I sit here after a year of people being killed and all this shit, and I'm just gonna sit here and watching everyone defend, and the amount of times I've been called an anti-Semite or I've dealt with Islamophobia over, I haven't said one thing about Jewish people. I don't even know enough about Judaism.
I'm not here to call you anti-Semitic. I'm saying that you're being gross to Palestinians.
No, I know you're
Lebanese.
not. I know you're not. No. Traitors to their people. Those aren't Lebanese people or Palestinian people.
I reject that in the strongest possible terms.
What is a Palestinian, though? Palestine doesn't exist. What is a Palestinian? Palestine was never a state. It was never a country. It was a region. So, like, a Palestinian isn't a real thing. Remember, like, that's the rhetoric that's going around. You understand that, right?
Maybe, but I understand what
was Palestine a country?
I don't know if it was a country or region. Either way, they believe they're Palestinian. They identify as Palestinian. I'm going to treat them as a Palestinian. But if they want to live in Israel so they don't get bombed, more power to them. Look, one side eventually has to win this war. Otherwise, it's never going to end. One side has to win. Like, one of the things that's happening is no one is being allowed to lose.
One side has to win. Why does it have to be the people who inserted themselves there?
Man,
one side has to win. So it has to be the people who inserted themselves there? Fuck that. Why do they have to win?
Whether they have to or not, they are.
Yes, and I think they're winning and doing horrible things, and they're killing children in their attempts to free the Middle East of terrorism. Fuck them. And then as an American, these people don't like us. They do not like us. They think their army's better than ours. They think their people are better than ours. They think they're smarter than us. They think they're better than us. And they laugh at us as we kiss their ass all day long.
Are you referring to Americans here?
Current Zionists that hate Americans and Americans that kiss the ass of Zionists. I don't even understand why. There's literally no reason I understand why.
I don't know.
No one's been able to explain it to me.
Because you guys call us saying, oh yeah, what happened to you guys on October 7th was bad, and I don't think Israel should be destroyed, as kissing Zionist ass. That's not kissing Zionist ass. That's just being like, okay, look at what they're doing to Ethan Klein right now, right?
What happened October the 7th?
Huh?
What was the October 7th? That was the attack, right?
Yes.
That was the What about like all the shit before October the 7th? No, we don't care about any of that.
The second Intifada, the first Intifada, the 6-Day War, the Yom Kippur War. What do you want to talk about exactly? Precisely. When the PLO came in to the Olympics and just gunned down those Jews, right? Do you want to talk about that? Like, again, we could do this tit for tat thing. The problem here is neither side has ever just accepted. There's never been a win state for either side.
Yeah, one side gets called a terrorist, and the other side gets all the American support, and I think it's disgusting. So yeah, I don't know.
Do you know how much money we send to Palestine? The Gaza specifically.
I mean, the terrorists steal that money, don't they?
Yes, they do.
The fuck do I care if you sell? So why are you sending terrorist money?
Because some of it does get to the people.
Oh, some of it. I don't care if some of it gets to the people. All you're doing is giving terrorists money.
First of all, the terrorists aren't going to be there much longer. Sinwar is dead. Their command structure is dead. Most of them are dead.
There'll just be a new group.
There might. Iran might ship them in.
Yeah, I mean, how couldn't there be?
Well, Iran might ship them in.
We're currently creating the next generation of terrorists.
No. Why are there no? There are many wars which end where we don't see an uprising.
This isn't a war.
Terrorism.
This isn't a war. This is a slaughter.
Is a war.
This isn't a war. Who are they?
It's a very one-sided war, right?
Yes, that's not a war.
But they're at war with Hezbollah, and they're at war with
you have a country and
Hamas.
a group of terrorists. This isn't a war. This is a slaughter. This is a massacre. You won't call it a genocide, but
What again, what do you want a Palestinian person to do that, again, has been displaced? You can even say unfairly. I'll even give you that. They shouldn't have been displaced. But they are. They find themselves in this situation. They are not traitors, nor are they dogs for wanting to fucking just live in peace.
I think they are. But,
Man, that's easy to say, right? That's easy to say when you don't have to take there are no consequences for you for saying that to you. But there are consequences to the people there who continually get put on, they get shoved onto the altar as a sacrifice for people's ideas of Palestine or ideas of what that area or region should look like. And it's, again, one of the reasons that they haven't been allowed to just lose. Just lose. I think the Gaza people, the people in Gaza, the people in West Bank, the people in that region would be better off if Hamas just gave up and people there just accepted and surrendered. And it might not be just. It might not be fair, right? It might not. But, at some point, something's got to give, right?
Okay. So they just stop. And then what do you think happens? I'm actually I want to test because I've been everyone's always at what do you think happens? The Palestinians stop fighting. I think the Palestinians stop fighting, and then Israel just keeps encroaching on the land and triggering people until they feel like they have to fight because they keep getting fucked with. Because that's what they've been doing for 100 years. So they've been doing for 100 years.
They get integrated to Israel, worst case. Okay.
Who gets integrated into Israel, worst case?
Gaza, West Bank.
They will never integrate the Arabs into that amount of Arabs. It'll fuck up their precious little 20%.
Man, they've already integrated some. They're living there, right?
I mean, they trained them well. They give them good treats.
$10 from Firechild. Civilian deaths always outnumber the number of dead soldiers. That's why war is bad. That doesn't make it a genocide. Look up the numbers of civilian deaths in all other wars. We're not here to debate thank you for the $10, first of all, but I'm not here to debate the genocide thing, right?
They're not soldiers, they're terrorists. You guys gotta pick a lane. You pick a lane, pick an argument. Either they're barbaric terrorists or they're these super soldiers. You just gotta pick one or the other. I don't know.
Do you understand why I'm frustrated right now? Do you understand I'm trying to
said something bad about Israelis.
What you think? You didn't say anything about Israelis. You said you called Palestinians and Lebanese
Palestinian Israelis and Lebanese Israelis
dogs and traitors. Yes, I have a problem with that.
This specific group of them. I didn't call Palestinian people.
Yeah, who live in Israel. Dogs and traitors.
Yeah, that's a specific sect, specific grouping of people.
Because of where they fucking live?
Mm-hmm.
No, again, I reject that. I think that's gross to say. I think that calling a group of people... I've heard
worse things said about actual Palestinians and actual Lebanese people.
Yes, I have too.
Yeah, if Ukrainians run to Russia, pathetic. If you run to live in Russia,
the people who are living in Crimea, the Ukrainians who are living in Crimea right now.
If we're at war with Canada, and then people in Michigan started running to Canada to live in Canada, which would be then you would be supporting Canada. That is what happens. You would be supporting them economically through population. You are now a Canadian. That's what happens.
Are you just against
yeah, you
the
are
concept of
traitorous to
refugees?
America. That's the right or wrong? Am I right or wrong in
Hold
that?
on. Are
I'd
you
be
just
wrong in that.
Are you against the concept of refugees?
A
refugee.
Am I against the?
Yes,
I against
a
the concept of
refugee
refugees?
whose their country is in conflict.
Yeah,
so
yeah, wait.
they flee
I'm
their
against the
country
concept of creating
to live
refugees.
in another
Yes.
country.
Yeah. Don't be a refugee in the country that made you a refugee. They hate you when you do that.
A lot of them don't
Look
have
at
a
all.
fucking
Look
choice.
what?
A lot of them
Look
don't have a fucking choice. Right? How many options do you think a Palestinian has right now that's living in Palestine, right? How many options do they have? Realistically. Egypt doesn't want them. Egypt won't take them, right?
Why should they?
I'm not here to argue whether Egypt should or not. I am trying to get you to put your mindset in the
no, because this is what I know, and I'm trying to bring you to my mindset. You let's look at what you're saying. Egypt won't take them. They shouldn't have to leave where they are for a fucking regime whose ideology is to build an ethno-state that you as an American should not be in support of. Because we're kind of against that kind of thing.
Whether or not this situation should be how it is, isn't my point, and isn't the issue.
I'll explain to you why I think they're dogs.
But
the point is, I think they're dogs. We had already established that. That's going to be boring. I'm not going to change I'm not going to apologize for it. We can have a conversation about why I think it is the way it is, which is going to be all these points.
It's just,
but like,
again, you hate Israel enough that you would rather to see a Palestinian die than live in Israel. Yeah?
I hate Israel enough that I think it's pathetic that a Palestinian would give up their land to go live in the country that's trying to conquer their land.
You're acting as if they have a choice in this matter, and a lot of times they don't.
Why don't they have a choice in this matter?
Because Israel is going in and doing its shit. Is that the Palestinian
fault? What shit is it doing? What's it doing?
It's prosecuting the war against Hamas.
Is it cleansing the lands
of an
ethnicity?
War against Hamas.
And replacing it with another ethnicity? And then you go and move into that land and support
I'll grant you that, even if it is. Even if it is.
Yeah,
what do you want a Palestinian
if you move into the land that does that to your people? Yeah, you're a bitch if you do that.
No,
you are pathetic. You stay in the land. You try to keep your land.
Again, you
would
fight
for your land.
You would rather they die.
Would you rather die or be conquered?
Man, depends who's conquering me.
Weren't you in the army?
Air Force.
Okay, so then you'd rather die than be conquered, Wick. You are an American through and through, and if another country's invading, I promise
there is a point where where
you just give up?
Yes.
And become
There's a point where you just give up. And the best thing you can do is surrender. Yes.
Then
if you got all your troops surrounded, there's no hope for victory. You do no one any favors by going out in a blaze of glory. Not usually, unless there's a very strategic objective that you need.
Do you do anyone favors by going and joining the other side? Because I think that's
traitorous. Look, do you think that in Israel that has more Arabs, Palestinian, Lebanese, etc., representation in it, do you think it would be a better place? Maybe it would be less likely to engage in these kinds of attacks that you say that they're doing right now?
I don't think they'd allow for it, so I don't really care for the hypothetical. I just don't think they'd allow for it.
But they obviously are, because you have Palestinians and Israelis living in peace Palestinians and Lebanese living in Israel in peace right now.
Yeah, because they're sedated and they get nice things. They're lap dogs. They got it. They're cushy. They get free school and healthcare that we pay for. So I mean, fucking based.
How that's such a horrible fate. Palestinians getting free healthcare, free schooling. What a terrible thing. Oh my God, Israel are the true monsters here. What?
Israel are the true monsters here.
For giving healthcare and education to refugees who happen to live in Israel?
Is that the picture
You're
you're
trying to
painting?
make this out as if refugees are somehow
Is
traitors.
Stockholm syndrome is fire now? It's good now, huh? I should beat you, treat you, and then like you should love me for treating you after beating you.
No.
That's what happened though. They got their home destroyed, their people slaughtered, their kids dead, and then they're like, "No, come here, Habibi. We'll give you free school and free land." And
What
they'll, oh
again? What
yes,
do you want? What
who's
would
a
you
good
have them do?
boy, huh?
What would you have
Fight for
them
your
do?
land. Fight for your land.
So again, you would rather them
Don't
die.
be traitorous to your people.
That's very
Yes.
easy to. And again, this. You're not just you who do it, but there's a whole lot of these people who live in their cushy places who are saying, "Man, oh, all you people who are surrendering, you're fucking cowards and traitors and dogs," right? Very easy to
Yeah.
say.
It's so
Very easy to say. It's disgusting. It is. It's disgusting.
Why is it disgusting? I've seen what Israel does firsthand. Like this isn't like oh, I've been in America the
Both of
whole
these
time.
things can be disgusting. Yes.
And as someone who as an American who got to experience all the fucking shit that comes over from the other side, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's true. Like I feel disgusting as an American where my tax dollars go. I feel disgusting. I feel traitorous to my people because my tax dollars go to funding this fucking group of people, this country, this ethno state that just all it does is want to expand its lands and bomb and kill people and lie and cry about it. Like I don't know what you want from me here.
Maybe
I
don't
don't know what
call
it
the
is that like
people who are
you're expecting
suffering
me
the
to
most
like.
dogs, right? Maybe don't call the people who are struggling to survive and doing what they need
They're
to
not
do
struggling
to
to survive. They're having a great time.
Their families just got destroyed. Their homes just got destroyed.
And they
You
don't
think
give a
they're
fuck.
having
They're
a
living
great
cushy
time?
lives. They get to wake up. They get to wake up, pay taxes, and have their kids go to school. They do not give a fuck about what's happening.
You speak with such authority, and I don't think you understand. How many of these
You live
people
right
have you
next door to your
spoken to?
destruction, and these people are what? I'm supposed to sit here and think they care while they live peacefully amongst the people who support the shit that's happening in their country. No, I don't care. While they work for the companies that fund the shit no, while they pay taxes. No. I do not care. Fuck that. That's not living in peace. That's just you either being a bitch in another country because your shit got bombed out. You got fucked over. You got captured. And so it's either Israel has been doing a cleanse of the lands, has been doing terrorist, has been doing terror shit, has been occupying, has been overstepping, has been building settlements, has been trying to expand their land. That is what they're doing, or they're not.
What do you think
It's
about
one or the
Palestinians
other.
and Lebanese who live outside of Palestine and Lebanon right now? Not in Israel, but I'm talking like say Ukraine or say America. Let's say America. Like I mean, come on, a Lebanese person in America
Yeah,
who's
pathetic.
abandoned their people, right? Who isn't there for their people, fighting
Pathetic.
alongside them.
Yeah, I
Pretty
feel
gross.
pathetic. I
Well,
feel pathetic. No, 1000%. I feel pathetic.
Two things. You shouldn't. You're
I
just
do.
a normal person, right? But two, you can make these changes if you want, right?
What
You can make
change?
changes. You can
You think I'm
strap
gonna
up and go
what
over.
am I gonna go fight for Hezbollah? What are you fucking crazy? You think
Okay,
I don't support that shit.
If you're not willing to do it, okay, because you understand Hezbollah's crazy, right?
I don't think they're crazy. I just don't support militias, and especially I don't really support terrorist shit. Not really a big fan.
Yeah, me either. And
I mean, unless
maybe
Israelis
the people
doing
who are
it.
in
Unless
Israel,
Israel's
the
doing the
Palestinians
terrorist shit,
living
then
in
that's
Israel,
fine.
again, we can criticize Israel, and we should criticize
You
Israel.
don't criticize Israel, and you don't call it what it's supposed to be. And you guys say, oh, they're just not doing bad thing. They're fucking
doing
terrorists
terrible
and war
things,
dogs.
but they are
They're
not.
war criminals and terrorists. They're terrorists.
To
They're
equate
terrorists.
Israel and Hamas is just wrong-headed. It's just wrong. It's just not true.
Israel is anti-Semitic, brother. They it's
Oh,
literally it's Israel's anti-Semitic.
Israel's anti-Semitic.
How? How are they anti-Semitic? Because they keep killing the Semites.
Okay, when we say anti-Semitism in America, we mean Jewish
Jew hate.
people.
I know, we mean Jew hate. No one cares about, like, I understand that there is actual anti-Semitism, but like you understand that like the people on the land don't give a flying fuck about Judaism, right? It's just so happens to be that the ethnicity that's killing them is Jewish people. They hate the ethnic. You can call them racists if you want, but like no, it's just like yeah, no. These are the group of people that happen to be bombing them, and I think these are Semites, and I think it's anti-Semitic. I mean, I don't know what you guys want. You never want to give them any bad words. You never want to give them any bad words. I think you're killing brown people. I think that's essentially what Hitler wanted was, hey, let's kill the brown people who have a different ethnicity than us, who have a different religion than us. They don't think the same way. They kind of band together. So I think you're killing these people off. And I think like, yeah, this is like, that's anti-Semitism to me, is anti-Semitic people, regardless of the religion. I don't think the religion really matters. I think it's just because it was different than mine. That's what's happening in the UK right now. We literally have a preemptive, not like it's not like a Holocaust is going to happen necessarily, but we have a like everyone wants to get these Muslims out of their lands, and PragerU's doing a whole Islam is a threat to the West. It's like it's so pathetic that we're watching exactly what happened with like Jewish people pre-Holocaust. Like, we need these people out of our land. We got to deport them. We got to send them somewhere. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but I'm supposed to see. No, like.
Yo, I'm not
Okay.
asking you. Okay, my
All right.
advocacy here. I'm not asking you to be like support Israel or anything like that. You can condemn them. I don't care. Right? You have your opinions.
So why would I? So why would I? So
my
I'm a Lebanese
advocacy
person.
is don't.
I'm a Lebanese American. So for me, Lebanese people, if you are going to live in Israel, the third language you should learn is barking.
I was hoping that this was just kind of like a joke, right? I was hoping that we were gonna talk and you're gonna be like, no, I was just talking big on the internet. I don't really believe this. I don't really mean this, but it's clear you do. And I'm trying to think of a way to kind of get through to you here. Because this kind of rhetoric, this kind of thinking is why there will never be peace over there.
No, it isn't.
There never will. Because
here's the thing.
You have people who
my
again
kind of
saying I would rather die than have peace. That's what you're saying.
No,
you would rather die than have peace. That isn't how you want
peace?
it to be.
How is it peace to live in the people that slaughtered to live amongst the people?
Because no one's getting slaughtered no more.
Peace.
Because no one's getting slaughtered no more. Yeah,
they're literally getting slaughtered right now. Right now.
Yes, because they keep fighting.
We haven't shut the fuck up about 1,200 people a year ago. Right now, every day, kids dying. Right now, no one gives.
It would be great if the party, right, who was still fighting, surrendered. If they were like, we love our kids enough, right, that we can just give up. It would be great. I wish they did. I wish they loved their people enough to give up.
It would be great if the world's strongest, moral, most intelligent, most everything, the best army in the world, Wick. Fuck the American army. The best army in the world, the Israeli IDF, right? That's the best army, strongest, most moral, most intelligent army in the fucking world. America, fuck you. You know what would have been great? If they didn't allow for terrorists to just like go through a fence. Oh my God. And if they didn't fund them, and if they didn't, oh my God, Bibi funded them. Bibi supported them. Bibi wanted them to gain some type of power to create type of shit. And then somehow the strongest, most moral, most intelligent, they have the fucking eye of God. They have the iron, everything. And yet some fucking shit-ons, some fucking losers with they make pipe bombs with sugar, came in and caused a destruction. And I'm supposed to believe that fucking demon of a leader didn't allow for this to happen under a pretense, because wasn't the guy supposed to be going to court? Didn't the people dislike him before all this shit happened, but now they love him because he's getting rid of terrorism?
They don't love him.
No, they like him. They like him. He has more support now than he did before because he's fighting terrorism. All of the Zionists are all over the world. Look, Bibi support. Bow down to Bibi. Bibi's the best. Because he let people in. Because he set
people
a
in Israel
pretext for
don't
people.
like him. One of the reasons that people think he's extending this war is because he knows once it ends that they're going to oust him. They're going to get rid of him, right? The people of Israel do not like Netanyahu. They did
the
before,
rest of the world
but
supports him,
because
though.
a lot of them do blame the security failures of October 7th on his laxness. Now that's a very different claim than him doing it on purpose. I don't think
he let it happen, but we support him.
When you say we support him,
we give him unlimited amounts of money to bomb children and fucking people in flip-flops and Adidas sweatpants. Yes.
Flip-flops, Adidas sweatpants, and fucking RPGs that they're launching at children. Yes, RPGs. I think I don't care what uniform you have on. If you have a fucking Uzi or an RPG or strapped up, right, you're getting got. I don't care about those people. My problems with Israel is that they do not take enough care for civilian casualties. But that's a very different problem than I have with Hamas and Hezbollah, which purposely target kids, which purposely target civilians. There's a very big difference.
I think they both do, so I don't really care either way.
Equate these things. They're just not
I
the
think
same.
They both do. I think they both target kids. And since you don't care that one side does, you kind of like, make up some bullshit excuse for it or cover up for it. I don't cover up for the other side. I say, fuck both of them. But you can't, which is really the issue, because I could say anything about Palestine or Palestine isn't a country, and you wouldn't really say anything. I wouldn't say what if I was a Zionist. I see Zionists all day. I see Zionists all day. I see Zionists all day shitting on Islam. I see Islamophobes and Zionists all day shitting on Muslims and shitting on Palestinians and shitting on Lebanese people. I've never seen you really say anything. But if I say something about,
we're circling the drain. Like we're not getting.
We're not circling the drain. I mean, because wait, no, you're getting some. We're is the only place we're gonna get is me saying that I'm sorry or something?
No, you've already explained what you think. I've explained why that's wrong, and we're just button heads.
You haven't explained why it's wrong.
I
haven't really explained why it's wrong.
So I think I've very clearly done that. Trying to paint Palestinians in Israel and Lebanese who live in Israel as traitors or dogs because they just want to live in peace and not get bombed is gross and disgusting, and I think it perpetuates
that last part. That last part, the whole living in peace thing. You admit that they're living amongst the people who are slaughtering their people, or you don't. Is that true or false?
It does not matter.
Doesn't wait. Oh, how does it not? So how are you not a traitor?
Because again, the people who are trying to live without being under the thumb of Hamas, without being under the thumb of bombings, right? Again, I don't think that makes them a traitor to their people, because Palestinian
should go live with the people who are doing the bombing?
They shouldn't be living with Hamas.
No. So Lebanese, okay.
So they got to live somewhere.
Why does no? There's no way you do this, man. There's no way you do that. You don't see how this works. Why does Hamas exist?
A lot of reasons.
Because Israel indiscriminately does the fucking bombing and the killing thing. It does the thing. So terror groups then come out of these fucking regions because they get sick of being terrorized and killed, so they want to terrorize and kill back. Right? It's not good. That's what happens. So like, if you're a Lebanese person, you're not being terrorized by Hezbollah. Some things happen. I'm 100% sure. You're not being terrorized by them. So yeah, if you leave because oh my God, Israel keeps bombing me and I want to go live in peace, so I'm gonna go live with the people who bombed me. You're a bitch. Palestinian people. Now, if you go and you're like, I'm gonna go live with the country who is consistently gonna keep pushing in on the lands, trying to expand their lands, that's not you living in peace. That's not you wanting to live in peace.
If you are calling people who live in
That's you
Israel,
supporting your
Lebanese
killer.
and Palestinians who live in Israel, if you are calling them and have this type of rhetoric, you are partially responsible for the continuing conflict. That's on you. The blood is on your hands. Ali, I'm sorry. I hope that you figure it out, man. Whatever it is you're going
you
through.
don't think the reverse support of the country that's doing this and the constant giving of money is actually the continuation of the conflict?
If Hamas
The conflict is
surrendered,
only
the
coming
conflict
from
would
the Arab
stop.
side?
If Hamas surrendered, the conflict would stop.
No,
If
it wouldn't,
Hezbollah
because
surrendered,
there
the
wasn't a
conflict would
Hamas
stop.
before.
If Iran stopped fucking with Israel, the conflict would stop.
Wait, okay, hold on, wait, no, okay, fine. Answer this question for me, like, honestly. Like, this is gonna be separate from the conversation we're having. So,
Okay.
we have the Jewish people, right, in 1942, who the Holocaust just happened to them.
Yeah, sucks.
They are living in fear because at this point in time, they feel as though the world hates them, right?
Okay.
Two things. One, their choice to live in the middle of the Middle East is the most ridiculous thing on earth. Because if for you to choose...
So their homeland, man? Their, like, religious homeland?
Their religious homeland. I don't give a fuck about religious homeland. You think
Well,
religious homeland matters to me? That means nothing.
It did to them, and they decided to live there.
It did to them? So a group of people who thought the world hated them decided to move to the center of what, like, the least stable place in the world,
that
probably
they got
at this time,
kicked out of hundreds of years ago, and they wanted to return to, which was part of their religion. Yeah,
thousands of years,
hundreds, thousands.
No, there's a difference. Thousands. Yeah, you choose to create a land amongst these barbaric terrorists and people who are in conflict with one another and are fighting one another. And then you come in and you try to instill a whole new situation, and like that's going to create further conflict with the people in the land.
Man, they were trying to move.
They are no better.
Wait,
they are no better. They are no better than the people that they live amongst. Israelis are no better than the people they live amongst. They have no justification to continue to do it. They have no justification to call it terrorism. It is terrorism for the people on the land to have another people come and conquer and take it over. That is terrorism.
They were,
and then with the support with support of other countries. Well, so like, what are we talking about? Like,
if we're talking
this conflict
about the
doesn't come because
up,
Arabs are trying to exist. But like, also, not 10 years ago, Palestine used to be on the map. Do you remember that Palestine used to be on Google Maps and Apple Maps?
It
was alongside Israel.
Google Maps.
Yeah, well, it was
back in the day.
Yeah, it was, and then slowly but surely it got removed.
What's that have to do with the matter at hand, right? Like,
okay, so
because
here's
Israel.
what it has to do with the matter at hand.
Let me get this out. Please. Right?
Yeah, go ahead.
The Zionist project, right, such as it is, was ongoing since 1880s, right? They had been getting killed. Like, the Holocaust was the climax of a long period of time where Europeans, Russians, etc. were just killing them, just oppressing them and killing them. They wanted a homeland. We can say that it was stupid for them to go back to their to what they wanted to go. They got kicked out of thousands of years, maybe so, but that's again, they did it. They chose that. It's not for me to decide here, right?
Yeah,
so they chose that. There was a lot of wars and conflict about that choice, where a lot of countries and the Palestinians themselves, some fought, some joined up. It was a whole thing, and there was again no real good guys here. They had the 48, right, where they set those boundaries, and then you had a series of conflicts, right? The problem here is this should have ended in 48. They'd have been like, okay, guys, you won. They should have given up. But people haven't let them. And it's perpetuated this fucking forever war, this forever conflict that's led to blood being shed in rivers by all sides. And it needs to stop. One side just needs to win. And look, Israel has already won. They've already won. They won decades ago, but no one has allowed the Palestinians to lose. And my God, that has been a horrific thing for the Palestinians. A horrific thing for the Palestinians. Had they been allowed to live amongst the Israelis, right? Had they been allowed to just surrender and give up and integrate, then we would be looking at a better world today. But they weren't, because
the
you had people...
The population would overtide. They won't allow for the Arabs to live outside of the precious 20% of fucking dog. That number being at 20% is very specific. It is very specifically limiting. They will not allow it to go to 30, to 40, to 50, because then they lose their Jewish majority state, which is what they want. That's all it is looking for, is a Jewish majority state. So you went to the middle of a place that had established people and lands to create this. Now you have conflict. You're no better than the people that live on the land. You don't deserve the land any more than anyone else. If we want to talk about religious shit, none of you care about Islamic shit. None of you give a fuck for Muslims. I see it. It's okay. It's fine. It's not a big deal. You picked your side. I get it. No worries. But like, yeah, for you to be like, oh my God, you're talking about Palestinians. Yeah, I'm talking about Israelis, which is why you got mad, which is why you thought it was gross and disgusting, because you have not shared one thing that was disgusting or anything about how Islam is a threat to the West or how all of these, what's happening. You don't you defend the side that's doing the killing and bombing by doing apologia for it, by covering up for it, by saying, oh no, this and that. It's like, it's kind of fucked. It is super fucked. And like, yeah, like you're when you were talking with Aristocracy the other day, when you're like, and anyone who calls Hamas or Hezbollah freedom fighters is an anti-Semite. Yo, there are people who,
if you support Hamas and Hezbollah, you're probably anti-Semitic. Yes.
Why?
Because you are supporting hate groups that just want to kill Jews. Like, Hamas doesn't care about the land; they just want to kill Jews. Hezbollah doesn't really care about it either. It's just an excuse to kill Jews. Israel is specifically, but Jews in general, right?
Yeah, and then
Israel's just the ones that are there.
And Israel just what? Just wants to exist.
Oh, there's some Islamophobic, racist pieces of shit in Israel too. Yes, that just wants to kill Arabs. They're gross. Ben Gvir and those types, they're gross. I condemn them.
Yeah, their government and
they're monsters.
Their army.
They're
terrible.
Their
government and their army. Yeah.
Most IDF soldiers just what?
Are terrorists.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are. What do you mean? Why aren't they?
Do you think that they, again, this lie that they purposely target
children? I think they hate
children,
Arabs and they want land, and they will do everything to conquer land, and then they will kill people. And
most IDF soldiers just want to stop rockets being shot at them every fucking day. Most IDF soldiers just want to not live in fear that if the Palestinians break through the wall, that they're going to burn them, right? They want to live in peace.
Oh, but not Hamas or Hezbollah. They just want the death of Jews. That's what you think is actually like
Hamas.
Like
yes,
actually the thing that's the
Hamas has it in their charter.
The driver
that they wanted to kill the Jews. Yes, Hamas said the reason that I think that they think that is because they told us for years and years that they just wanted to kill the Jews.
When they say Jews, like, what do you think they mean?
Jews. They mean Jews. Sorry, $5. So hold on. They're yelling at me. $5 from Rabid Wombat. Ask Ali how many years Israel has to hang on to former Palestinian land before they have a moral and legal right to them. Happened to the Jews, right?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
I'm not sure either. He super chatted it, so not my question.
Can you repeat the question so
Sure.
I can try to answer it?
Ask Ali how many years Israel has to hang on to the former Palestinian land before they have a moral and legal right to them. Happened to the Jews, right? I'm assuming he's meaning that since the Jews got kicked out 1,000 years ago, right? Israel has to survive for 1,000 years and then they have a moral, legal right to it, or what's the deal?
No, I don't think they have. Okay, so like, unless right is might, which I mean, most people say might is right, whatever it is. Sure, then they have the right to it if they hold it. But I mean, like, I don't think that like you're entitled to the land because you have a religious claim from thousands of years ago. I don't think that's a reason to give the people the land. And I don't think that any of us believe it, much less why wouldn't we give Native Americans land back, Kurdish people their land? Like, why aren't we giving mass groups people land back? We only care about this specific group of people having their land back, which I don't really believe you guys give a fuck about.
It's like it's done, right? It's done. They fought the war, and they're still fighting the war, right? Because fighting the war. Palestinians just trying their best, but they've lost. They lost decades ago. It's done. Whether it was right or wrong doesn't matter. It's done. It's
Well,
done.
no, to the people, yeah,
But
well,
it
to you it
can't
doesn't
ever
matter, but to the
be
people who live
done.
there, it matters. And then we see what the
But it
future
can't ever
looks
be
like.
done because we
Because we
keep
see what
calling
the
people who
future
try
looks
to
like.
live in peace with Israel dogs.
Because they keep trying to expand the land and the people that live there support it. And also, I didn't call Israelis dogs. Only Palestinian and Lebanese, and I did Arabs that live in Israel is
Yeah, I think
probably
it's
the better,
worse
more
that you were calling
encompassing, like the more
Palestinians and
encompassing
Lebanese
term.
people and Arabs who live in Israel dogs than
Would you
you
prefer
would be
traitor?
if you called the IDF dogs. Yes, I
Would you
think
prefer
that's
traitor?
worse.
Would you prefer traitor?
They're not traitors.
Calling someone a
this
dog isn't
treason
really
thing.
like that. Like in Arabic, you would like an insult would be like "Inti kalb ibn 600 kalb," which is you're a dog, son of 600 dogs. It's not really like that big of an insult. It's just a regular insult. So I don't get dogs. Dogs is what you're like offended by.
The fact that you're insulting refugees, calling them
They're
dogs,
not.
bitches, whatever.
I'm insulting refugees. Dog,
Yes, they're refugees. They're fleeing in a lot of cases.
yeah.
Man, anyway. Later my usual time. Sociological Ali, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to let you go. Any last
All
words?
right, man. Free Palestine, man.
Okay. See you later.
Have a good one.
That was a very hard conversation. That was different, Rip Haven? Yeah, a little bit. I just do not like, and it makes me angry when we dehumanize people like that. We are never going to get peace. First of all, I want peace. I don't want a war. I don't want any of this. I don't want to see it. I don't want to have the people over there suffering like they do, and they're suffering. They are suffering. It needs to end, and not just for a ceasefire, right? But it needs to end. It needs to stop. We need to get to a point where Arabs and Jews, Palestinians and Israelis can live together in peace without worrying that one is going to kill the other. Without people from across the fucking world calling one of those groups traitors because they won't take up arms and fight to the death. Palestine needs to be allowed to lose. You are doing them no favor. The Palestinian people, you are doing them no favors. They lost decades ago. Stop putting them on the altar to your fucking ideology. To burn. To die. To bleed. Let them live in peace. Let them have a family. Let them grow old. Let them have free healthcare and education, right? So what if it's in Israel? Who cares? If America... Can you imagine? Can you imagine if Japan hadn't surrendered? And until this day, they had just been fighting this forever war while America just sat on their asses the entire time? How crazy that would be? How horrific that would be? Not just for the Japanese, but for the Americans too, right? Thank God that they surrendered. Thank God it stopped. I don't know. That's my thoughts. That's my thoughts. I'm getting very frustrated. I'm getting very sick and tired of people asking others to die for them, for their beliefs. Man. Yeah, it did it did take a lot to end that war, Space Karen. That's true. Polar Knights, thank you for the gift sub to live for me. Live for yourself. Live for me. Look, a lot of I see a wide eyes in chat frustrated at me. Look, I try to meet people where they're at. I try to speak their language. I try to kind of I'm not here to debate the Israel-Palestine conflict overall. Not the point of the conversation, right? The point of the conversation was I wanted to figure out and to find out why Ali had decided that all these people who were trying to live in peace were traitors and things like that. I think I understand better now, but it's worse than I thought. Does that make sense? If this is how people really feel, then yes, the blood is never going to stop. It's never going to stop. Another generation is going to be radicalized, not by Israel, not by those bombs, right? You know what's creating the terrorists of tomorrow? People like Hassan saying, fight, 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 go kill those Jews, right? People like Frogan saying, fight, 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 don't stop, don't ever stop. If you stop, you're a traitor. If you live somewhere else, you're a traitor. If you flee, you're a traitor. You remember Omar, who said that people who were fleeing from Gaza should be shot in the head? You guys remember that when that was on my channel and I had to kick that guy off? It's gross, too. It's super gross. Hassan, yeah. Hassan's up in his tower, like that Shrek guy, right? Some of you may die, but that's a price I'm willing to pay. Some of you may perish in the war against the Jews, but, you know, do your duty. If you don't, you are a traitor. Go ahead. Zach Brannigan it up. Rush the trenches, right? Rush the enemy in embankments. Insane. There may come a point with Ukraine. I don't think we're there yet. I don't think we're near there yet. But there, and I support Ukraine 100%. 100%. I think we should arm them and help them. That said, if there comes a point, and there may, where it's just doom. It's just, that's it, right? There's nothing. And I think we've long passed that point with Israel and Palestine. It's just, they're done. They lost, right? Then I would say, okay, Ukraine, it sucks and it's heartbreaking and it's terrible, but live. I don't know. Remy LeBlanc says any country should be allowed to just take whatever they want. No, they shouldn't. But after something is done, like, do you think that the Tibetans, right? Do you think all of them should be still trying to like blow things up, right? That's kind of fait accompli at this point. And it sucked. Well, Hong Kong, better example, okay? Hong Kong, better example, right? It sucks. It's not a story. Hong Kong can't win its independence, even if they all rose up. It sucks. They should get out if they can, right? But if they can't, live. Just live. You're not a traitor. You're not a traitor. Live. That's my advocacy. And I want Palestinians, I want all the people over there in that region to not have to fear death and not to have people sitting on their comfy ass couches in the West urging them to kill themselves for some stupid cause. Okay, that's it. We're gonna end it. Man, that was tough. I don't feel good. Gang, I don't feel good about it. I don't. I don't like it. I didn't like this conversation. I'm gonna be real. I didn't like it. It was gross. It made me feel gross. It's sad. Who's streaming? We should raid. I forgot to raid yesterday. Let's see. Who's still going? Oh, Irrelevant's still going. You guys want to say hi to Irrelevant? He rated me the other day on Kick. Let's raid him on Twitch. Say hi for me. Tell him this is a hate raid. And I'll see you guys next week. I'm going to take tomorrow off. I'm just, unless something big happens, yeah, I'm just going to take tomorrow off. I don't know, gang. I'll see you guys later.